Good evening. Malacanang says President Bongbong Marcos's position on the impeachment issue of Vice President Sara Duterte remains unchanged, despite warnings from Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Juan Ponce Enrile that Filipinos could face a very detrimental president if the logic of the recent National Rally for Peace is followed. The Iglesia ni Cristo Peace Rally held last Monday was organized to express support for Marcos's rejection of impeachment efforts against Duterte. Juan Ponce Enrile made a Facebook post questioning whether the INC could override constitutional processes, asking if the country is prepared to discard or sacrifice the value of the rule of law for a person or a group of persons. In the same post, Enrile emphasized that impeachment is a constitutional mechanism for removing a government official if there is a ground and evidence to support it. In response, Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin highlights Marcos's commitment to fostering open discussion within his administration. According to Bersamin, the diverse views, experiences, and disciplines during discussions is what enriches policymaking in the government. Bersamin says that while Enrile's thoughts may carry weight and are always valued, Enrile's comments is one of the many remarks that are being seriously considered by the President. Bersamin then maintains that the President's stand on the impeachment issue of Duterte remains unchanged. Marcos earlier told the House of Representatives not to file an impeachment complaint against Duterte. Marcos pointed out that the impeachment would not benefit Filipinos as there are other issues in the government that needs to be addressed. The INC rally was attended by more than 1 million members of the group. INC spokesperson Edwin Zabala previously asserted that the event was not political. Akbayan Representative Percival Sendanya says delays in the impeachment complaints against Vice President Sara Duterte emboldened the Vice President to violate laws and aim for the presidency. In an interview on Thursday, January 16, Sendanya calls on the House leadership to step up and pursue accountability on the impeachment complaints filed against Duterte.
Sa bawat araw na dinedelay natin itong impeachment complaint, lalong na-embolden si Sara Duterte na on-violate ang ating mga batas at gusto pang maging Pangulo ng ating bansa. So, we hope that the House of Representatives will rise above the political pressures and continue pursuing accountability.
Various sectoral and religious groups gathered at EDSA on Thursday, January 16, urging the House to act on the impeachment complaints against the Vice President. The Vice President faces 3 impeachment complaints, the first of which was filed last December 2 by sectoral representatives, religious leaders, and families of drug war victims and endorsed by Sendanya. A second complaint was filed by progressive groups and a third by religious groups, all stemming from the Vice President's alleged misuse of public funds. Over the weekend, Duterte reportedly declared that she was seriously considering running in the 2028 elections, but did not explicitly say what position she intended to run for. Last Tuesday, House Secretary General Reginald Velasco said several lawmakers were actively looking for at least 103 colleagues to endorse a 4th impeachment complaint against Duterte to expedite the process. Manila's 6th District Representative Bienvenido Abante Jr. admits that some lawmakers like himself are cold to the idea of pursuing impeachment complaints against Vice President Sara Duterte as the 19th Congress may run out of time. In an interview on Thursday, January 16, Abante says that the remaining session days before Congress goes on recess for the 2025 midterm elections campaign season might be too few to conduct impeachment proceedings, especially since the complaints are still with the Office of the Secretary General.
Paglabas niyan, pupunta yan kay Speaker, pag-aaralan yan, then it will go to the Committee on Rules. Pag-aaralan uli yan, it will go to the Committee on Justice. May debate pa yan. In reality, wala na eh. 10 session days is actually too short for that. And hindi lang yan, kundi campaign fever na, election na, and then ita-transmit sa Senado yan, no? And actually, we are not sure about the Senate. Kung yan, talagang papatulan pa nila.
Abante says no one has approached him to solicit support for either the existing complaints or a possible 4th petition. According to Secretary General Reginald Velasco, a group of lawmakers plans to file a 4th petition using a so-called fast-track process where 1/3 of all House members would endorse the complaint, allowing it to be immediately forwarded to the Senate. However, Abante says some of his colleagues have reservations about the complaints for the same reasons he cited.
Sa akin, I think that some of them are actually quite cold. No? This impeachment proceeding. In fact, yung ibang nakakausap ko, they were asking me kung kinausap na ako. Sabi ko, hindi pa. Nobody came to me and asked for any kind of an endorsement. Sa Quadcom namin, wala pang lumapit sa akin. So, yung ibang nakakausap ko, they're kind of, meron reservation tungkol sa impeachment, actually.
Abante then clarifies that he is not against the impeachment of the Vice President. Rather, he believes that efforts to seek accountability from Duterte would have a better chance during the 20th Congress. According to the 19th Congress calendar, sessions will adjourn by February 7 to allow lawmakers to prepare for the 2025 midterm elections. After the polls, sessions will resume on June 2 and adjourn by June 13. As of now, 3 impeachment complaints against Duterte have been filed with Velasco's office. However, none of these have been forwarded to the office of Speaker Martin Romualdez. 10 of the 29 cops who were ordered arrested for their alleged involvement in the mishandled 6.7 billion peso drug case are already in the custody of the Philippine National Police. The Manila Regional Trial Court on Monday, January 13, ordered the arrest of the 29 cops for the bungling of prosecution of arrested personalities implicated in the October 2022 drug case. Based on the PNP's data, as of 10 a.m. on January 16, 9 were arrested and 1 surrendered. Of the 10 cops in custody, 8 were active duty personnel while 2 had optionally retired. 2 active duty personnel and the 2 retirees are now under the custody of the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group. Meanwhile, the Integrity Monitoring and Enforcement Group, the PNP Drug Enforcement Agency, and the intelligence units of both the Batangas and Alaminos Municipal Police Station each have 1 officer in their custody. 2 officers are under the custody of Pasay Police Station. In response to the issuance of the warrant on Monday, the PNP formed a task force to swiftly apprehend officers involved and vowed no mercy for wrongdoers. The police assures that they are continuing their efforts in arresting the cops involved in the case to hold them accountable for their crimes and bring them to the court's jurisdiction. The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority will recommend to President Bongbong Marcos to place all national government agencies under the adjusted working hours implemented by local government units from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. During the Metro Manila Council meeting on Thursday, January 16, MMDA Chairman Don Artes says that placing national government agencies under the adjusted working hours can help address heavy traffic and congestion in Metro Manila.
Isa sa mga consideration natin yan sa ating pag-recommend sa Pangulo na i-cover na rin yung lahat ng NGAs sana kung papayagan para rin siguro makatulong sa decongestion kasi nakita natin sa mga LGUs na nag-implement merong substantial improvement sa travel time, hindi lamang ng sasakyan, pati ng mga empleyado.
Last year, the Metro Manila Council passed a resolution mandating the adjustment of working hours of local government units from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. The resolution, which is aimed at improving traffic and commuting conditions, states that the traditional 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. working hours of government officers align with the standard working hours of private companies, thereby contributing to traffic congestion in Metro Manila.
Siguro makakatulong yan makabawas, unang-una sa public transport. Imagine mo, almost 500,000 yung mga empleyado, ilan po sa kanila ang bumibiyahe. So makakaiwas na sila sa pagsabay doon po sa mga ibang bumibiyahe, yung mga nagtitransact. So, yeah, dapat po matapos namin yung recommendations bago magsimula yung rehabilitation po ng EDSA.
In the same meeting, the MMDA shows a report that an estimated 220,000 government employee commuters who use public transportation will avoid joining rush hour with private sector employees. It also shows that 37.15% of the over 470,000 national government employees in Metro Manila use private vehicles during the rush hour. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.